Kia ora, welcome to Wake Up Havelock. I'm Irene.
And I'm Doris. In today's stories, a new crime wave is sweeping the country. In the form of woolen graffiti, scientists have invented an invisibility cloak. We help them find it and the latest in weather around the country. But first, a story that will turn your world upside down.
If you think the world is getting more and more topsy-turvy, it turns out you're right. Builders in Germany have built an upside-down house, and before you may think they read the plans upside down, they did it on purpose. The wacky abode was built as a tourist attraction, as well as being a comment on the state of the world. The house is 23 feet tall and rests on the roof, and has steel beams in the attic. Inside the house there are beds screwed into the ceiling, upside-down wardrobes, and an upside-down kitchen, and even an upturned bathroom, though it's not known if anyone has tried to have a bath in it or go to the toilet. Normally, a house like this would take 3 weeks to build. This one took over 4 months because workers kept getting confused by the strange angles of the walls. Many tourists visiting the house complain of feeling sick and dizzy after just a few minutes inside. We now cross over to our reporter Izzy, who is inside the house. How are you feeling, Izzy?
Thanks, Irene. I'm here with the owner of the house, Steve, and I'm feeling down under, I guess. So, what made you decide to build this upside-down house?
Oh, mate, well, all my neighbours have their house upright, so I thought, mate, why don't I turn mine upside down?
What comment do you feel the house makes about the state of the world?
My house is upside down.
Oh, okay. What are some of the challenges of living in a house with everything upside down?
Oh, mate, don't get me started on the bathroom and the bacon and eggs every morning and the vacuuming. Oh.
And if you had your own choice, would you live in an upside-down house or a normal house?
Oh, mate, I think I would stay the same.
Alright. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Izzy for Wake Up New Zealand. Back to you, Doris, at the studio.
Thanks, Izzy. Even watching that makes me feel like vomiting. And now for a story that is truly out of sight. Look out, Harry Potter. The world of science is catching up to the world of magic. Scientists in Europe have created a 3D invisibility cloak, which can hide objects by bending light waves. It has been found that light can be controlled using special tiny crystals that makes objects disappear. So far, scientists have made small objects such as coins disappear, but hope that it won't be long before they are hiding cars, planes, and even people. People have always dreamed of making themselves invisible. One top scientist says, the possibilities are endless and we are very excited. However, science inventing the invisibility cloak, the scientists have been very trouble finding it as soon as we pull it down. Somewhere it just disappears. The inventor of the cloak said, it appears they are having trouble finding their things, like their lunch, which they think may be underneath the cloak. What will this invention actually be used for? Hoping to see through the reasons behind the invisibility cloak. Here is the spot reporter Bob with more on the story.
Hello, my name is Bob, but you can just call me Bob. Now, I'm here with two of the greatest scientists ever around. Now, they have invented the invisibility cloak. Now, why would you want to invent the invisibility cloak?
So I could rob banks, get big money.
Now, what did you hope the cloak would be used for?
Selling. Big money.
Can you show me how the invisibility cloak works? Now, how much will it be sold for? Albert? Thomas? Yeah, how much will the cloak be sold for?
$10,000.
10,000.
Will it be sold nationwide?
Definitely. Yes.
Well, thank you for Thomas and Albert's time. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Bob. And now how's this for an interesting yarn? A new wave of graffiti crime is covering the country, thanks to an underground gang known as the Midnight Knitters. These wool-waving criminals are covering tree branches and lampposts with small jerseys and scarves under the cover of darkness. Police say the knitted activities of the gang are illegal because their woolly crimes are being done on public property without permission. The popularity of woolen graffiti is growing and more public objects are being wrapped up every night. But the problem is growing, police say, and warn that if the Midnight Knitters aren't caught soon, over every tree, lamppost and traffic light in the country will be warmly dressed against the cold. The problem is spinning out of control. There are a close-knit group of knitted criminals. We are stitching together a case, but it's not seamless. There is no real pattern to the crimes, a police spokesman said today. So far, the criminal knitters have escaped arrest and continue to pull the wool over the eyes of both the public and the police. We now go to a secret location with our investigative reporter Abraham, who has an exclusive interview with one of the Midnight Knitters gang.
Thanks, Irene. I'm Abraham, and joining me in this top secret location is a member of the Midnight Knitters gang. Hello, Gangster Granny, and thanks for joining us. What led you into the dark underworld of knitted graffiti?
Well, you know, me and my homeboys, we was chilling in the park knitting some prank clothing when we started to get a real thing for it. So now we're doing it for famous people.
Do you see yourself?
Yeah, and sometimes I get a bit guilty, so we just knit some more. Takes all the guilt off our shoulders.
And why this?
Oh, 'cause it's a really calm thing to do. It just makes you feel better.
Apart from trees, lampposts and traffic lights, what else would you like to graffiti with your woolens?
Well, at the moment we're starting to think about knitting for the famous people and royalty. So yeah, we're working on stuff for the Queen of England.
What is the estimated population of your gang?
Well, we've gone global recently, so there's quite a few thousand. And yeah, now we've been working on stuff for the people in the Taj Mahal in India. And here in England, we've been working on one for the Queen of England. And yeah, that's a top that says, "Worst Queen ever, shoot me."
Thanks for your time, Gangster Granny of the Midnight Knitters gang. We now go over to Hannah and Wilnay with the weather update.
Thank you, Abraham, and good evening, New Zealand. Let's have a look at tomorrow's weather. Starting in the far north in Kaitaia, look out for some pretty flash flooding and raindrops as big as your head. If you're going outside, wear a hat. Moving down to Auckland, there'll be a mix of fair conditions and unfair conditions. But those are the conditions and you'll just have to accept them. There'll be no weather at all for Bay of Plenty. It's taken a short holiday but expected to be back for the weekend in Napier and Hastings. The weather will sometimes be changeable and sometimes not. We have really no idea what will happen there. In the Taranaki, a mild depression brings with it a very dull day with no highlights at all. It'll be overcast and gloomy all morning, but things should cheer up by the evening, so don't worry. Everything will be fine. Wellington will have another capital. There will be no wind all day, and the day conditions will be so pleasant they'll actually be extreme. In the top of the South Island, Kaukura can expect to have a good day meeting friends for lunch, going for a swim and reading the newspapers, but try to stay indoors as the weathers will just be terrible. A real mix for Christchurch. which will have some unreasonable rainfall, some sensible wind, moderate thunderstorms and some very angry snow. And in the lower south, Dunedin will be frosty, cold and unfriendly until late morning, when the sun will pop over for a visit. Everybody likes the sun.
That's all from me. Remember, if it's raining outside, that's the weather for you. Good night, New Zealand. Now it's back to the news desk with Irene and Doris.
Thanks guys, well that's all we have time for. We hope you enjoyed this evening's broadcast.
Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Until then,
I'm Irene.
And I'm Doris for Wake Up Havelock. Goodbye, e noho rā.